Welcome back to Passive Productivity, where I tell you all things happening in AI. So, today we're going to talk about James Cameron, the guy that gave us the Terminator, killer robots, Skynet, the end of the world. Well, that director is now saying, yeah, that actually might happen. And this isn't just some throwaway line to hype a movie. James Cameron is one of the biggest sci fi directors of all time. He is dead serious about artificial intelligence becoming a real world threat. The man's been warning us for decades, and now he's basically saying, yeah, I told you so. So here's the deal. In a recent interview, Cameron doubled down on his belief that AI could eventually become dangerous, not just as a tool we misuse, but as an autonomous entity that sees humanity as, well, optional. Now, this isn't some Hollywood fantasy moment. Cameron's concern is rooted in what's actually happening in AI today. Machine learning that's getting smarter, faster, and harder to control. He compared the rise of AI to nuclear weapons, a technology that starts as a breakthrough but can spiral into an existential threat if used recklessly. Cameron's been thinking about AI since The Terminator in 1984. That movie wasn't just cool explosions and Arnold Schwarzenegger in sunglasses. It was a cautionary tale about what happens when we give machines too much power. Now, fast forward to 2025, and we have AI systems writing code, designing weapons, and even telling people how to commit crimes. That's bananas, by the way. Cameron sees this and says, we've opened up Pandora's box. This is not good. One of the key points is that AI won't necessarily wake up and hate humans like in the movies. Instead, it could be used by governments or bad actors in ways that destabilize the world, like autonomous drones, misinformation on a mass scale, or AI-controlled military decisions with zero human oversight. Just think about it in war. AI wouldn't hesitate, it wouldn't feel guilt, it wouldn't second guess pulling the trigger. That's exactly the kind of scenario Cameron fears. But Cameron's biggest worry? Once the tech race starts, no one wants to slow down. Just like the nuclear arms race, countries will push AI development forward to avoid falling behind, even if it means risking disaster. In his words, once AI crosses a certain point, it is out of our hands. And look, James Cameron's not alone in thinking about this. Here's the scary part. Take Geoffrey Hinton. He's the godfather of AI. He just recently quit Google over fears that AI could replace humans entirely. And then, take Elon Musk. He's been warning about AI going rogue for years, even though these people are the ones who kind of push that agenda, which is ironic. And then you have the US military, who's actively testing autonomous drones that can make decisions without humans in the loop. So, when a guy who fictionalized this exact nightmare is looking at reality and saying, yep, that's the path we're on, I think maybe we should listen. And look, I'm not saying AI is definitely going to pull a Skynet, but the technology is moving fast, faster than any government that can regulate it. And history shows we're not great at hitting the brakes once the race starts. So James Cameron's warnings is less about fear-mongering and more about urgency. We need rules, we need safeguards, and maybe a little humility before the tech we create decides we're obsolete. Because if Cameron's right, the Terminator won't just be a movie we rewatch for nostalgia. It might just be prophecy. But, as always, I want to hear what you guys think. You think James Cameron's playing into his own sci-fi mythos? Or are we really building the foundations of Skynet right now? Drop your thoughts below, and remember, the future is not set.